Money talks before marriage. Essential conversations for financial harmony. Hello, welcome to Women's Financial Empowerment Group. I'm your host, Ruth Agbeloso. If this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome! Thank you so much for visiting. Please go ahead and subscribe, come back, like, do all those things. And if you've been here before, please go ahead and like, share, do all those wonderful things. Thanks for supporting this channel. On this channel, I discuss all things money, money mindset, making money, saving money, investing money, and more. So you're gonna wanna come back to hear what I have in store for you. And if you wanna hear more about me and what I do, stay with me to the end of the video and I'll share that information with you. Let's get into today's video. Are you or someone you know about to get married, thinking about marriage, have been married? You definitely want to stay and watch this video, because this video I'm going to share so many insights about money conversations that you need to have if you want to have a harmonious marriage when it comes to money. Obviously, there's other things that can go on. When it comes to marriage, there's so many things that can go wrong. There's so many things that can go right. It's definitely up to the two individuals in the marriage to make it work. But one of the top things that goes wrong in a marriage is communication and also money problems. So in today's video, I'm going to address some conversations that you need to have before you get married to avoid some of the problems that can come about due to financial issues, okay? So if you haven't had these conversations already and you're on track towards marriage, I highly recommend that you have it, because honestly, most people that are divorced didn't plan to be divorced. We actually plan to stay in it for the long haul, but due to certain circumstances, it just didn't work out. But so many things can be avoided if we do the prep work ahead of time. Don't be afraid to sit down and have these conversations thinking that, oh, if it doesn't go well, then we won't get married. It's better to have the conversations and decide to go your separate ways than to not have the conversation and have the expensive lawyer bills and everything else that goes along with a divorce. Anyway, this video is not about divorce, but this is about key conversations that you need to have before you get married. I highly recommend that you have all of these conversations before you get married. But even after you get married, especially in the beginning, have these conversations, because it's good to have them early so that you can hash out any differences and then you can be on the road to success, okay? So I hope this video is helpful to you. Definitely give it a thumbs up, share it and like it, and leave a comment and let me know what you think. All right, so let's get into it. So one of the first conversations that you need to have about money is your family history. Now, a lot of people don't talk about this, but your family history when it comes to money can really affect your relationship with money and how you manage your money. So if you grew up in a household where things were always tight, you didn't have enough money to pay for basic essentials and things like that, then that really has an effect on you. Or if you grew up in a lifestyle, in a household where you guys spent a lot of money and money was free flowing, you were able to get whatever you wanted as a child. Whatever the situation is, it's important to discuss those, because the differences between you may impact your relationship with money. So it's very important that you have those conversations. You know, whether you had one parent that was a spendthrift or another parent that was a saveaholic, so to speak, very thrifty, couldn't buy anything new, always said no. All of these things are things to keep in consideration. All right, the next one is your personal history with money. This is key, because even though we grow up a certain way, we adopt our own way of doing things. A lot of times we mimic what we grow up with, and sometimes we go the exact opposite. Sometimes we're kind of like in the middle. So it's important to talk about your history with money. So whether you have free-flowing spending habits, or you're more thrifty, or you believe in investing, or you know, you've never really had much money, or you don't have any money right now in the bank, or you know, whatever it is, you definitely want to talk about your personal history when it comes to money. You know, if you have some money trauma, if you have some fear, if you're afraid to do certain things with money, all of those things are things that need to be discussed ahead of time. Trust me, you definitely don't want to neglect this. No matter how in love you feel you are, you need to discuss these things, okay? And along that same vein, you want to talk about your credit score. Your credit score and your credit history, your credit report is really, really important when it comes to getting together with someone else, because that can affect certain things that you want to do together. So whether you want to buy a home or you want to start a business or certain jobs that you might want to get, you may not be able to get them, or you may have to pay a higher rate. There's so many things that can be affected by this. So you definitely want to talk about your credit score and your credit history, and you want to know what your potential spouse feels about your credit score. Or you want to be able to give your opinion on him. You know, where is he, and whether or not it's a deal breaker to you, or whether you can work together to fix the situation if there's something that needs to be fixed. Or hey, you're both in a great position and you know that you can be able to have your dream home up front, or whatever it is. You definitely want to make sure that you are clear on this key thing. A lot of times there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of anxiety that comes when it comes to talking about credit score, credit report, when there's some not so nice things there. So it's important to actually bring that out, explore that, talk about it, get into that frame of mind where you can actually express this. And if you have trouble with that, you definitely want to speak to a professional financial therapist or just a therapist and talk about, you know, why it is that you can't talk about these things. And a lot of it has to do with your money mindset. So money mindset, again, goes back to what I talked about earlier, your personal history with money. Your money mindset has a lot to do with how you manage your money. And in my coaching program, that's the first thing that we tackle is your money mindset, so that you can go from a scarcity or a lack mindset to an abundance mindset. So anyway, this video is not about that, but just know that these are things that are essential, that you need to talk about those, okay? And this kind of goes hand in hand with the whole credit score situation, is your debt. You know, how much debt do you have? How much debt does he have? Are you expecting to get help with this debt? You know, it's important to just put it out there. Do you have no debt and like to keep it that way, but he has a lot of debt and you're like, I don't want to be a part of that? It's best to know ahead of time where you both stand. Let me tell you, that love will grow stale really quickly if you find out after the fact that this guy is bankrupt, he is in a horrible situation, he's dragging you down because your paycheck has to go towards paying off his stuff. So it's best to have that conversation. And it's not all negative. You know, sometimes finding this out can lead to a closer relationship because you know that you're both on the same path, or you can be of value to the other person by helping them out. So it's just important to have these conversations and know where you stand. The next one is how to manage the finances in your home. The household finances is key. You know, who's going to pay what bills? How are you going to split it up? You know, whether you're going to have a joint bank account, or you're going to have separate bank accounts, or you're going to have several bank accounts. All these things need to be discussed ahead of time, because if you have a different view on how the family finances should be manage, then it can create a lot of friction in the relationship. So the earlier you discuss this, the better. And like I said, before you get married is the ideal time, because then you can make a better decision on whether this is for you or not for you. Because, you know, that love, like I said before, can really grow stale when you have all of these issues and problems on a regular basis. The next one is lifestyle. What type of lifestyle do you want to have? Are you someone who's more of a minimalist, stay at home, not wanting to go out, not wanting to eat out? not wanting to travel? Or are you the opposite? Are you someone that loves to travel, loves to eat out, have various experiences? These are things that you want to talk about, because what if your partner is not on the same page with you? You either have to leave him behind, or you guys will be arguing about, oh, you've spent too much on a restaurant, or oh, we have food at home, so why do we need to go out? So it's really key that you discuss this ahead of time. What type of lifestyle? If you want to live the type of lifestyle where you have like flashy cars, you want to wear designer clothes, you want to make sure that you have those conversations ahead of time. If you want to have children, that's another lifestyle choice that's rather costly at times. And whether you want those children to go to public school versus private school versus homeschool, I mean, I know it may seem like a lot of things to discuss ahead of time, but trust me, you're going to want to have these conversations ahead of time, because these are conversations that can really break a marriage. And even if you don't end up in divorce, you can end up in a situation where you feel unfulfilled, angry, hostile, all the rest. And you know what? Those things a lot of times can be avoided with having the conversations up front. Okay, so make sure you're having these conversations. All right, next one, discussing your dreams and goals. Super duper important. And this goes along with lifestyle, right? So if you imagine yourself moving to another country, or living in a castle or a mansion, if you imagine yourself living out in the woods in a little cottage, again, it's very much a lifestyle, but these are things that are probably long-term, that you see for your future, that you would love to have. It's very important for you to discuss these things. If you believe that, hey, you're earning 6 figures right now, and you know that you're going to take your company up to the $1 million mark, and what that's going to look like for you, and you want to live a certain way, you need to discuss these things. So if you feel like, maybe you're not a high achiever, and you kind of feel like, you don't want to be pushed too much to go to the next level, or whatever it is, it's important to have these conversations. He may feel like you're pushing too hard, or you're working too hard, and he doesn't really want to have that type of lifestyle where it's hustle and grind, or whatever it is. So it's important to share those dreams and goals ahead of time to make sure that there's alignment and that there's harmony. Okay, there needs to be harmony. Or hey, I like harmony. What about you? Do you like harmony? Leave a comment below before I give you the next one, and just let me know, are these resonating with you? If you've been married before, did you have these conversations? If you're on track to be married, is this helping you to make sure that you are prepared? And the last one I want to share with you is premarital agreements. One of the ones that is most popular is prenuptial agreements. You may be thinking, prenuptial agreement, that's for people who are insecure and that leads to divorce. I mean, that is such a myth. I believe that prenuptial agreements are a real good tool when it comes to organizing your finances. Of course, you want to make sure that all the other pieces are in line. As a matter of fact, before I go into prenuptial agreements, let me just say that when it comes to your goals and dreams also, you definitely want to discuss things like investing and how you want to invest. If that's something that's important to you, if that's something that's important to him, it's important for you guys to have that conversation so that you know, okay, these are some goals, these are some things that we want to have in our lives. You also want to talk about retirement. Those are some things that, will come up eventually. If you stay together down the line 50, 20, 30 years, I mean, hey, you may be in your 40s and just getting married. Eventually you may want to retire, so you will want to have that conversation. What do you want retirement to look like? How much do you want us to have during retirement? And things like that. And in my program, we definitely dive in deep with these type of conversations and plan out how you are going to live your life, or how you would like to live your life in the future. So those are things that you need to have a conversation about ahead of time. And there's one more thing that I forgot to mention earlier when it comes to your personal history and things like that. Tithing, that's another thing. There are some people that believe that you should tithe, and people that believe that you shouldn't tithe. And if you're not familiar with that term, that's giving 1/10 of your income towards a church or an organization like a charity or something like that. So it's important to just hash out all of these things, like how you feel about money, how you spend money. All those things need to be discussed. Okay, so let's get into prenuptial agreements. I'm not going to go in too deep with it. I did do a video about prenuptial agreements and I'm going to link that. But there's a myth that if you have a prenuptial agreement, that means that you're going to get divorced. That is so not true. Like, a prenuptial agreement is more than just about getting a divorce. It really just gives you a legal framework for how, property is going to be dispersed, things like that, if you are no longer together. So that could be in case of a death, that could be in case of a divorce, and other situations. So I highly recommend that you look into it. It is a legal situation, so you need to have separate lawyers to help you figure out the terms of this. Like I said, I will link that video so that you could take a look at it. I just gave a run through of more. I expanded a little bit more on prenuptial agreements. I hope that you found this video helpful. I did say that I would share a little bit about myself and what I do, but please go ahead and hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, share this video out so that others can be edified and prepared before they get married to deal with some of these financial things and hash them out ahead of time. I'm a financial coach and I help high achieving moms manage their money better so that they can build wealth and leave a legacy. So if you're in a situation where you feel like there's some pieces of your finances that you need to get in order, you want to level up your finances in a way that will allow you to live the lifestyle that you want to live, a better lifestyle. Maybe right now, hey, you're making 6 figures and you're living a good life, but there's more that you want out of life, or you want to make sure that your children are set, that you don't have to think about their college, everything is in order, your retirement is in order. Definitely see my information in the description box where you can schedule a free call with me so we could sit down and talk about your situation and see how I can help you just go after your goals and dreams. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please come back again, like, share, comment, like I said before. And like I always say, change your mind, change your pocketbook. See you in the next video.